Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive.
From AI-inspired insights from farmers.
If you're enjoying what we're doing here, we'd love to hear from you too.
Absolutely.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and definitely leave a comment telling us what you want to see more of on this deep dive.
We're always looking for new ideas, and we really value your feedback.
So what farm-related mysteries are you dying to uncover?
Right.
What questions are keeping you up at night? Let us know, and maybe we'll tackle them in a future deep dive.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Grab your cup of coffee, because today we've got a stack of sources looking at something changing really, really fast, the digitalization of veterinary medicine.
Absolutely. And this is super relevant if you're new to farming or maybe just kicking around the idea, because how you get veterinary help and manage animal health, well, it's being totally reshaped by tech.
Right. So our mission today is pretty clear. Unpack these sources, pull out the key insights, and figure out what this digital shift actually means for you and the animals you look after.
We'll be covering quite a bit the rise of telemedicine, what younger generations expect digitally, some real-world tech examples.
Yeah, how different generations of vets and owners are adapting, the specific future for livestock care.
And stick around because we've got a bonus insight on potentially saving some money too.
Okay, let's dive right in. First up, telemedicine takes over.
Yeah, and the sources are quick to point out, using tech isn't brand new. Vets have used phones, even fax machines, for ages to communicate over distances.
Sure, but what's different now is this huge surge in modern video calls, online communication. Technology got better, faster.
And then COVID happened. That really accelerated things, turned it almost into a necessity overnight.
So the sources help define things. Telehealth, that's the big umbrella term, right?
Yeah.
Using tech for any kind of info or care.
Exactly. Info, education, remote monitoring, all that. Then telemedicine is more specific. It's using things like video calls to provide actual medical care when you're physically separated from the vet.
And the potential benefits mentioned are pretty compelling. Streamlining workflows for the vet practice.
Improving the standard of care by making expertise more accessible.
And reducing stress. Less stress for owners, maybe less fear for the animals at home compared to the clinic.
And even potentially less stress for the veterinary team.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a fascinating ecological angle one source mentioned.
Oh yeah, the emissions thing. Cutting down on travel for appointments could slash carbon dioxide emissions by, 40 to 70 times.
Yeah, a massive potential environmental win there.
Now, here's a key difference from human medicine the sources highlight. Animals can't, log into Zoom themselves.
Right. The owner is absolutely crucial. You're the one interacting with the tech for your animal.
There was a German survey mentioned that gives us a snapshot of owner views. Most people, about 71%, actually saw telemedicine positively, like as an asset.
And this is the interesting part, an even bigger majority, 84%, had never actually used it.
That's a huge gap, isn't it? Between thinking it's good and actually doing it. Makes you wonder why people are holding back.
Well, the survey asked that too. The number one reason, by far 82%, was concern about limited examination methods.
Yeah, you can't do a hands-on physical exam through a screen.
Exactly. And the second thing, for about a third of people, was missing that personal connection with the vet.
But on the flip side, think about what people don't like about going to the clinic. Waiting times that bothered almost 60%.
And dealing with aggressive or nervous pets in that environment, that's over half of owners finding that difficult.
General stress, travel time, distance, all significant factors for nearly a third of people. Telemedicine could potentially solve a lot of those issues.
It's interesting that in that survey, cost wasn't the absolute top concern compared to things like the exam limits or waiting times.
Right. But the sources do suggest people are willing to pay for teleservices, which shows there's value placed on that convenience and access.
Okay, so that's the tech side. But who's really driving this demand from the client end? The sources point pretty strongly towards younger generations, millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah, apparently they make up something like 62% of pet owners now. That's a huge slice of the market.
And Gen Z in particular, they're described as true digital natives.
Yeah.
Grew up with this stuff. They just expect modern tech, seamless online systems in, everything.
Including vet care. It even mentions they might search on TikTok or Instagram before Google sometimes.
Which means if you're starting out with animals, understanding this group is key. They have different expectations. They're motivated to look at pet insurance rates, higher than older generations.
But the challenge for vets is turning that motivation into actual engagement, especially for preventative stuff.
The sources offer some solid tips for practices, like Tailor the consult, maybe expect to spend a little more time explaining things because they want that deeper understanding.
Provide info before the appointment, walk them through the exam, explaining the what and the why. That makes sense.
And their tech expectations. Convenience is king. Easy online booking, be where they are online. They like different ways to connect, like webinars or active social media.
And they're open to what the sources call wraparound services using tech, like continuous monitors tracking health data.
Another thing, their interest in sustainability and holistic health. Practices can connect by offering eco options, like titer testing or direct delivery, and thinking about overall well-being, not just fixing problems.
But here's a crucial point the sources stress. Despite all the tech love, that first face-to-face visit, still vital for building trust.
Exactly. You can't totally replace the vet. Technology enhances, it provides options, but that initial human connection, or human on behalf of animal connection, is still foundational.
Okay, so let's shift from the expectations to the actual tech in action. What does this look like on the ground? The sources give some great examples.
Yeah, telemedicine isn't just one thing. There's telepathology, sending lab results, microscope images electronically for review or a second opinion.
Teleradiology sharing x-rays, CT scans, ultrasounds with specialists anywhere.
And teledermatology, using photos and videos to assess skin conditions remotely. Studies show it can be surprisingly accurate, like 70% comparable to in-person for many things.
Then there's the broader teleconsultation vets consulting specialists or vets talking directly with owners. Huge for getting expert advice, especially if you're rural.
And the specific examples are really telling. Post-surgery follow-ups done online. Owners apparently like that.
Well, yeah, keeping a recovering animal calm at home makes sense. And seeing a nervous pet in its own environment via video might give the vet a truer picture than seeing them stressed at the clinic.
Using photos and videos sent from your phone to track how something's healing or how a chronic condition is doing day to day. Invaluable data.
And we can't forget COVID. Telemedicine was a lifeline then, ensuring animals got care despite lockdowns.
Some sources looked at more advanced stuff too. Wearable monitors for dogs with heart conditions, letting vets tweak treatments based on real-time data, improving quality of life.
Though, importantly, expert interpretation was still needed for that data. It wasn't just the raw numbers.
And shifting to livestock, this is fascinating. An AI tool developed to spot lameness in cattle just by analyzing how they move.
From video or sensors, right. That's huge for early detection.
Exactly. And the sources explicitly link that early detection to better animal welfare and better farm productivity. A real win-win powered by AI. It does highlight the need for vets to get trained in interpreting this stuff, though.
AI is also showing up in clinics, like those rapid analyzers giving test results almost instantly, helps vets decide on treatment faster.
And even integrating smart home tech cameras, smart litter boxes, maybe tracking subtle changes that could signal illness early.
Plus, those continuous monitors, glucose for diabetic pets, or even just how much water an animal is drinking, all valuable data streams.
Taken together, these examples really show how tech is boosting diagnostics, monitoring, and enabling quicker interventions. It's not just theory, it's happening now.
So with all this tech and changing client expectations, how's it affecting the people involved? Vets, owners. The sources talk about this sometimes as veterans versus virtual vet.
Yeah, but it's less a conflict and more about how different generations are navigating this digital shift. The sources do note that, maybe compared to human doctors, vets as a group have been a bit more conservative in adopting video telemedicine.
And within the profession, you have different strengths. Experienced vets bring years of practical knowledge, that tried and tested wisdom, invaluable stuff to pass on.
Absolutely. And younger vets often bring the latest knowledge. They're maybe more naturally comfortable with new tech and can help integrate it into the practice.
The key takeaway from the sources seems to be the need for collaboration and understanding. Getting past stereotypes like older folks calling younger ones lazy or vice versa and focusing on individual skills. One-on-one chats seem important here.
And this generational aspect plays out with clients too. Older clients might really prefer the phone. The German survey showed it was still the most popular tool overall.
Whereas millennials and Gen Z, they're actively looking for and expecting digital options because it's just how they operate in daily life.
There's also a subtle shift happening in the vet's role. Owners have so much information online now, they often take more day-to-day responsibility.
So the vet becomes less of just the sole authority figure?
And more of a consultant, a guide, helping owners navigate information, weigh options. It needs a different communication style, meeting people where they are,
Right. So leveraging everyone's strengths and understanding different expectations, vets and clients, young and old, seems critical for adapting successfully.
Now, let's zoom in on livestock care, because this
Yeah.
is really crucial for anyone listening who's farming or thinking about it. Digitalization is having a massive impact here.
The sources definitely point to an evolving role for food animal vets. Yes, on-farm visits are still essential, but there's a growing emphasis on consulting, remote monitoring, using tech.
Technology is really the backbone. Think sensors, Internet of Things devices sending data from the barn, advanced production systems. It's creating new ways to manage health proactively, often on a large scale.
We saw examples like advanced on-farm diagnostics giving quick results.
Wearable monitors for individual animals, allowing high-level care remotely, maybe even avoiding stressful, costly hospital stays sometimes.
Automated feeding systems adjusting rations based on health data.
And that AI for lameness detection we mentioned, analyzing movement data to catch problems early. Such a game changer for welfare and the farm's bottom line.
So, individual animal care is still vital, but the sources show it leaning more heavily on tech, on analyzing big data sets, and on remote capabilities.
And food animal vets need broader skills now too. According to the sources, understanding welfare rules, environmental regs, sustainable practices, maybe even alternative proteins, often working alongside other scientists.
The whole trend seems to be towards smarter, more data-driven, proactive health management for livestock, enabled by these digital tools.
Okay, let's tackle something that's always a big factor. Cost. Especially if you're starting a farm, veterinary bills are a serious consideration.
And here's that bonus insight we promised, told directly from the sources. Using tech like telemedicine, remote monitoring, and data analytics can potentially lead to significant cost savings. One source even mentioned the potential for up to 50% savings.
To 50% is a huge number. And importantly, the sources suggest this can be done without sacrificing animal welfare or farm productivity.
So how does that work? Well, the sources give specifics. Telehealth consults for cattle health, for instance, were shown in one study to save farmers up to 30% on vet costs.
And catching health issues early through monitoring, whether it's wearables or AI analyzing behavior, means treatments are often less complex and cheaper. Plus, you avoid those costly dips in productivity.
Just cutting down on travel costs for certain types of appointments by using telemedicine offers direct savings on time and fuel.
Using data and AI for proactive management helps you get ahead of problems, avoiding expensive emergency treatments later.
Remote monitoring might reduce the need for animals to be hospitalized, which is often a major expense. And using online referrals efficiently can save time and money, too.
But the critical part is how this happens without compromising care. The sources are clear. Early detection via tech allows timely help, which improves welfare and prevents losses. Remember the lameness AI. Better welfare, better productivity.
Avoiding the stress of travel and clinic visits is itself a welfare benefit for the animals.
Getting specialist advice quickly through teleconsultation can actually raise the standard of care, not lower it.
High-quality care is still possible remotely, guided by the data from monitoring tech. Decisions become more informed.
Right. Better data leads to better decisions, more effective treatments, and ultimately healthier animals and more productive farms.
So the picture the sources paint isn't just about convenience or novelty, it's a potential path to care that's both more affordable and potentially better and less stressful for the animals.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it's crystal clear from this stack of sources. Digitalization isn't just some passing fad in veterinary medicine.
No, it's a fundamental shift. It's changing how care is delivered, how you interact with your vet, the role of the vet themselves, and definitely the future of managing animal health, especially for livestock.
And for you, as an animal owner or farmer,
Yeah.
this throws open some real opportunities. Potentially easier access to care, more convenience.
Definitely potential cost savings, which is huge, and the chance to be more involved, more proactive, thanks to these new monitoring tools.
Now, obviously, there are challenges. There's a learning curve involved in adopting new tech. But the benefits highlighted across these sources for animal welfare, for farm productivity, for your own peace of mind and budget, they seem really significant.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on based on everything we've discussed today. As technology keeps putting more health information, more monitoring power, more direct communication tools right into your hands, how do you see that vital partnership you have with your veterinarian changing in the coming years?
Yeah. How will technology shape that evolving relationship between owner, animal, and vet? Something definitely worth considering.
We hope this exploration has been valuable. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Hitting that like button and smash that subscribe.